Hello, I'm your host, Sean Aaron, and welcome to Dem Bois Inc. Podcast. This show is a platform where trans men of color voices can be amplified as we share our transitional stories and many other issues that are relatable to trans men of color and our existence. This show is not only to amplify our voices, but to raise awareness and conversation around our lived experiences. So I would like to welcome my guest here today. Why don't you introduce yourself?
My name is Samir King. I go by he, him, and his.
Samir, so where are you from?
I'm from Brunswick, Georgia.
You're from Brunswick, Georgia. Is that where you currently at right now?
No, I live in Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay, cool. So for folks, Samir was a past recipient of Dem Bois Inc. grant. And so Dem Bois paid for Samir to have gender affirming surgery. So Samir, so you had top surgery, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So just give us a overview of like your transition, just like who you were, just like your whole journey from before until now.
Well, I was recently incarcerated. I got incarcerated when I was 17, and I did like 10 years. I didn't get out basically until 2019. And when I was in there, while I was in there, I never had a label or anything like that. I wasn't ever a stud. I wasn't ever a lesbian. I was just a dominant person, who liked it females. And one of my friends that was in there, basically he was like, hey, how do you identify as? And I was like, for real, I've always been a man, but in my mind, I've been a man, but what I'm saying, that was just it. And so he was like, well, how do you feel about, being a trans man? And I was like, I'm not sure about that. So he gave me this book to read, and it had non-binary, like it had so many identifications as far as sex and genders. And I was like, wow. So when I got out, I did more research on it, and I was like, okay, bet I can actually be who I am inside, physically and be free. And I was like, man, I'm gonna go ahead and try it. And I've been on my transition now for almost 3 years. I just finally had my top surgery February 24th, thanks to them boys. They paid for my surgery. They're great. And, I'm kind of in the process now of, of course I'm still on T, but I'm kind of in the process now of, going through the second phase as far as hysterectomy and, bottom and all of that. But, everything takes time.
Yeah, most definitely. Hey, thank you for sharing that. So my question to you is, so you identified as trans once you was not incarcerated, or did you identify as trans while you were incarcerated?
I really identified while I was in there, but I still didn't give my identity to anyone. Like I was, doing my own little research and doing my own little path. You see what I'm saying? Then once I got out, and I put myself in the category, then, I became a trans man in that category because I never wanted to be in a box.
Yeah, I feel that. We don't like them boxes. So how do you feel like your life inside? Like how were you treated inside? As who you were? Like you say, you had no labels or nothing like that. But how were you treated?
Be honest with you, I wasn't a person to come across wrong inside there. Like I stayed in lockdown a lot, and it wasn't because of my identity or anything like that. It's just, I really didn't take BS, and I was, if you want the truth, I was inside of a gang. And, as being the top person, you have to, uphold certain image. So I was always in lockdown, and, that was just it.
Yeah, that's so 10 years. So I love to hear like people's stories of like how they chose their name, right? So if, when you born, the name that you're born with, of course, like, you shed that, you go through puberty and, you get these things that you don't want about your body or you don't like about your body and you have your name. But then once you transition and you on T and all of that stuff, you get the chance to choose. You get to see yourself grow up on T.
Right,
before
right.
you didn't understand none of that shit, but now you get to choose. So the name Samir, I love that name, by the way. So like, where did that come from?
This is kind of crazy. I reached out to one of my exes because she was the first person I went to and told about my transition. You know what I'm saying? Because we always come to each other for insights and encouragement, stuff like that. So I reached out to her and I was like, hey, I need help with some names. And I was like, I got Samir. And then she was like, she wanted to know the definition behind Samir. So she gave me some names, and I'm like, no, the names ain't sticking. Like I'm really liking Samir. So she went and she read the definition, and basically is like a leader. And I've always been that my whole entire life. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate you you know what I'm saying, helping me out, but I think I'm gonna stick with Samir. And to be honest with you, I don't know where it came from. That's just something that came off the top of my head.
Well, it shows you, because if you're saying it was a leader, it means leader.
Right.
And you always known yourself to be a leader, then that's just easy. So I feel like it just came to you. That's
right.
Cool. So no middle name. So just Samir.
No, it's Samir Malcom.
Samir Malcom. Got you. Okay. I know when I first got my name, so my birth name was actually Shantae. For anybody listening. Yeah, for anybody listening, don't you ever say that shit. I don't, and I normally don't say it, but then right. I just cut the end off and just start going by Sean. And then when I was wanting to legally change my name, my son was like, well, what about a middle name? You need a middle name. I was like, you know what? If you could come up with a middle name for me and I like it, then I'll keep it. So then he came up, he said all these other names. I was like, nah, man, I ain't feeling those. So then finally he just said Aaron. I was like, Aaron, okay, Sean Aaron. So I just dropped, for now, I just go by Sean Aaron, period. I dropped my last name. Unless you looking at my ID, you won't even know my last name. So I just go by Sean Aaron. So that's how I got my name. So yeah.
That's what's up. That's dope. At least your son into it, but I can't get my son to.
What you mean?
Man, my son, he don't understand it. He's 17. Like I said, I left him when he was basically 3-4 years old. And, from before I went to prison, he was with me 24/7. So he was aware, like he wasn't them 3-4 years old kids that, really didn't know nothing. Like he was quick to learn, like he followed me. And when I got out, it was like, damn, where my mom at? It was just, and with me not being there, him not having a daddy, like him being in the streets, all that, like it kind of still to this day still bother him, because when we get into arguments, he'd be like, well, instead of you trying to be my dad, be my mom type. You see what I'm saying? So it's like at least you got it. That's all I'm gonna say. At least you got it.
So how do you work with that? How you deal with that?
I mean, it's all right. The only thing I could do is go to God. You feel what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, everybody have to live for themselves. You see what I'm saying? Even though I'm a parent, you're a parent, we still have to live for ourselves in order to live for our kids. So, I mean, that's just it.
Yeah. One thing that we forget about our kids, though, we raise them or they grow up, and at the end of the day, they still an individual. They still had their own personalities. They still had their own way of thinking, regardless of how we tried to raise them with the best that we have or what we know how. They still end up being just who they are. So, just like we want them to love us, we got to love them too. So, and that's just that. So you had top surgery in February. How was that going for you now?
Man, I feel like I'm the man of the world. I go outside with no shirt on. My wife.
Oh, you already with no shirt on?
Already with no shirt on. But listen, the first couple of hours I was doped up, and all I remember is I'm coming in the house, and I was like, "Baby, I could take my shirt off." And she was like, "Okay, I'm gonna just let you see it," because mind you, I was still, I guess, up under the influence of being up under the medicine. Yeah. So she was like, "I'm gonna let you see it." So I took the binder off, and before you knew it, I was standing outside. And that little TikTok that say "Good morning, America" and "F you neighbors." So I went outside and did that. I just felt so good. Like you just,
hey, you ain't supposed to take that wrap off though, right?
Oh well, I did. I was ecstatic, man.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's what's up. So it's definitely a life-changing experience for you.
Yes, tremendously.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So is there anything of advice or anything you would like somebody listening to know?
I could just say this for whomever that is listening. It don't matter where you was in your past. It don't matter how you got there in your past. As long as you move forward. And what I mean by that is the mistakes you made when you grow older, you just don't let them make you. You see what I'm saying? Like you live and learn, and you're going to make a mistake. Even when you're 40, 50 years old, you still going to make a mistake, but you do not stop from that mistake. You can be your own failure. Can't nobody else make you fail besides you. And like I tell anybody, just push forward, man, and love yourself and love thy neighbors, and everything will be pure. And just keep God first.
Oh, that's a good message for sure. Yeah, definitely. Definitely learning from your mistakes. That's something that man, you just got to keep pushing forward. You keep mentioning God. Are you a godly man, a holy man, or you go to church? What's that?
I just believe in God. I don't have a religion. I don't have any of that. I just, you know, God is, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of people may not believe or may not believe what I'm saying, but God is the reason why we're breathing. You see what I'm saying? And I don't pray, I meditate. You know, it's a different, people do things differently, but I just put him first.
And talk about that. Talk about meditation.
Oh, meditation is awesome. I mean, like now, while I'm talking to you, I can still meditate in my mind. It's a mental thing. You see what I'm saying? Like some people do like chakra colors and all that. Like I don't do that. I just do plain old meditation to where I can either sit, stand up, you know, and just I empty out my whole mind. Like I completely empty out everything and I talk to God. And it's not really even me physically talking, like my mind talks, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? It just once I meditate for about 30 minutes or to an hour, like I open my eyes and I just be released. But the whole time I'm meditating, all I see is white stars. Like I don't that just comes. You see what I'm saying? But that's just like if you close your eyes right now and you keep them closed for so long, you're gonna see those same white stars. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's just meditation is really good.
How'd you pick that up though? That technique of meditation.
I used to pray to a lot of things. And my last little creator that I prayed to was a tree. And when I went inside prison and did the you know, the motivation for a change and all the other stuff type there, it talked about meditation. And you know, I was doing meditation without even knowing that that was meditation. And then when my teacher, he was like, hey, you know, everybody always telling me to read up on it. And, you know, I'm such a geek. I just read up on anything. And I read up on it and I was like, well, you know what? That's what I'll start doing. And I've been doing it ever since.
Yeah. So do you teach meditation to other folks or is
No,
there something that you just keep for yourself?
I don't. I mean, if anybody asks me, you know, or I'm giving advice to someone, I always, you know, tell them, you know, try to do meditation or, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Like, I don't just say, hey, you know, pray to God. Like that don't always be my first answer. Like meditation is God. You see what I'm saying? Because you talking to someone.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah. I like that. I like that meditation. So do you feel like it helps like with anger or like other issues that you're going through just to meditate? Is that like your first response? Oh, you pissed me off. Shit, I'm going to meditate. Or like,
No,
you know.
that's what I'm saying. No.
Okay.
I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm learning how to not be impulsive because when somebody pissed me off, my first result is physical altercations. Like I'm always physical. So let's just say if I go to jail for a certain situation or me put my hands on somebody, I'll be in jail the whole time I'm in jail. I'll meditate. You know what I'm saying? It's like I don't think first. I'll just react, and then later on I deal with the consequences, and the consequences always leads to me meditating. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it do. Yeah. I think I need to meditate a little bit more, actually. I got a little bit of anger too. And, you know, therapy helps, but sometimes you got to, when you ain't in front of that therapist, you need to tap into something else.
Yeah, because I used to have a mental health counselor and all that there, but I'm like, these people got the same problems I got. And the only thing they're doing is getting paid to, you know, teach the same thing that we know. So we just tap into our inner selves. We could be our own physical therapy. You see what I'm saying? Or we could be our own mental therapy. You see what I'm saying?
So I could save money per week, paying my
Right.
therapist.
And be your own therapist. You see what I'm saying? Like, of course, like I just said, of course you're gonna make mistakes. You see what I'm saying? Of course you're gonna have downfalls, but you have to learn from them. You see what I'm saying? They're just like a therapist. They ain't 100% perfect every day. They fall short too. But guess what they do? Sometimes they be their own therapist. Sometimes they might pay for, you know, somebody else to do it for them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Meditation, that's definitely something I need to consider for sure. So Samir, so what you doing with your life nowadays after surgery? What does your life look like from a day-to-day basis?
Well, right now I just quit my job yesterday because of a discrimination thing going on. They just have a problem with not how can I say it? They have a problem with not pronouncing my gender correctly. So I kind of quit. I quit that job yesterday and I returned to closing today. So I just came up with my mind today, like, I'm just going to start back focusing on my own business. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I stopped doing my nonprofit. I stopped doing my clothing brand. I stopped doing, my customized items only to work this 9 to 5. And I'm like, I'm this type of person. I don't deal with rules and I don't deal with disrespect. So in order for me to stay out of the jail system, I feel like I should become my own boss. And I try to do it the right way, but it just don't work.
Yeah. So tell us about your nonprofit. What does that look like? What is it?
That's it basically for the kids, like, because when I was a child, I was traumatized. I didn't have the protection I needed. Nobody listened to me. No, I didn't really have nobody to talk to. And if I did talk to somebody, I was told I was going to be killed. So I just basically made this nonprofit to give back to the kids who is in silence. You see what I'm saying? Like, my organization is not off the floor yet, but once I get off the floor, I'm going to have a little hotline to, it could be on, anybody can call it. You see what I'm saying? And nobody will never know. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't have nobody to talk to, you don't have nowhere to go. Eventually, I'm going to make my nonprofit a group home, because that's what I'm trying to get it to be as. And I just want to give back, man, because it's too many kids out there who's talking about their genders and, kids getting killed because they want to be certain type of, want to be a certain label. They getting bullied, even adults. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I just want to open up a whole different type of community.
Yeah, I like that. You know what it's going to be called yet?
Right now, it's called Protection Royal Reconstruction Youth Program.
So you saying it's not off the ground. So are you interacting with youth at the current moment?
Yes, I go to my pastor. He has not really my pastor, but my friend, but he's a pastor. He has he referees for football games for the kids, basketball games. So I go, and after he do his little refereeing or whatever, I go and I do a little small little talk about my me being in prison and what I did and where I'm at and how can I help them and I'm saying, how can they help themselves and things like that.
I like that. So you was talking about you doing you said handmade products. What does that look like?
Oh, I make all type of things, man. I make ashtrays, cups, candles. I mean, soap dishes.
Oh, that's nice. You got a website up or what? An Etsy shop? What you got?
I have a website, but I didn't know, like I just said, I'm just getting out of prison, so I really don't know everything that I'm supposed to know. So I didn't know that I'm supposed to pay for the website every semester or whatever. So I'm paying for it later on tonight and it's going to be up shortly.
Okay. So yeah, they want your money every month. It's just like any other subscription, Netflix or all that. They want your money on a consistent basis. Yeah. They ain't just giving it. Yeah. So even
somebody had put me up on it, but they didn't really give me all the research. They was like, hey, go to GoDaddy and do this and do that. And then, your website will be up.
Yeah. That brings me to a question to ask you, like, how do you, especially as a trans man of color, like, how have you reintroduced yourself to life outside of being incarcerated? How has that transition been just from being inside to outside now?
It's hard to deal with a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Because if you ever had to be inside of a wall and be told what to do and, all of that is traumatizing. I still don't like to be around a group of people. I can, you see what I'm saying? But only for a short period of time because I get anxiety real bad, But I mean, it's kind of okay. I'm learning how to adapt, if that makes sense. Like, because it's a big transition. It really is.
Yeah. So is there anything you could do, like going to groups of like learning how to live outside? Do they have anything like any programs or anything you can go into?
I wouldn't have no idea because I'm not a big fan of, reaching out for help like that, if that makes sense. Because it's not like something I can't get through on my own. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get that. Do you try, is that how can you tie into your meditation into that?
Yes, I do that a whole lot.
Okay. Okay.
especially with that.
Yeah, I got you. Well, good luck on that, like signing up the website. If you need some help, I'm here too. You can reach out to me. I've started so many different things. Like I can help you maneuver some of that too. And that's
Okay.
real. I'm being real. So
Okay.
yeah, so this is the part of the show though that I ask a random question to a guest. So I got like 16 random questions. It may or may not be about anything that we just talked about. It could just be something just super random. So you just pick a number from 1 to 16, and then I'll give you the question for that.
My favorite number is 5.
5. All right. Oh, so number 5 is, what is your number one fear?
To be honest with you, I'm scared of heights.
Oh, me too. Oh my God, me too.
Like I can't do it. Like my wife keep trying to get me to get on rides and the job I just had, they like to work from top floor. I stay at the bottom. Like I can't do heights. I don't know
What
why.
started that? What started that? Like since you was a kid, or like something that just happened?
No, it's been like that since I was little. Like I don't play with me when it comes to something high.
So you don't get on the flight or nothing?
I've never been on a plane. My wife trying to get me to get on one. I just got me a passport, and I don't know why I got that. I mean, I'm being honest with you. I can't do it.
Hey, well, me and you both, I'm afraid of heights. I mean, I could. So if somebody gave you $1 million cash, stacked it right there in front of you on the table, and said, "This $1 million can be yours if you, I don't know, I think bungee jumping is too extreme. If you go to
the hell no.
Not even with that $1 million?
No.
Okay, so I'll tell you what, you just go to the top of the tallest building out there where in your city and just look over the edge. You could have this $1 million. Would you do it?
Just to look over the edge?
Yeah, just look over the edge. You got to stay there for like 3 minutes. Looking. Just look over for 3 minutes.
Ooh, I probably would do it, but I'm gonna be throwing up in 3 minutes though.
Yeah. I'm afraid of heights too. I try to work through it, but man, it's safer down on the ground for sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But any last words, Samir, that you want to say?
No, I mean, I appreciate you for allowing me to be on your podcast today. I appreciate y'all for, supporting me in my transition and helping me live my dream as far as the physical appearance. You're a great brother, man, and just keep doing what you're doing, for real.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that for sure. So we want to thank you for being on the show. I thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you. And, I don't take this lightly, and I love you as a brother, another brother of color. I love you. And, continue on your journey, continue doing what you do. And yeah. All right. Thanks.
No problem. Be blessed.
Thank you for listening to today's show. Once again, I'm your host. My name is Sean Aaron. Be sure to be sure to share this show out with folks in your networks. If you would like to connect with us, be sure to follow us on Instagram or Facebook. You can also visit our website at dembois.org. That's DEMBOIS.org. If you think you would make a great guest on this show, or maybe you have a question for myself or a future guest that you would like to hear answered on the show, please send an email to hello@dembois.org. That's HELLO@dembois.org. Until next time, take care.